Okay, example number 6. Now, example number 6, if I had to kind of link these, I would say that these two questions here, these ones are alike. Example 5 and example 6, because you're given 2 points and you're given 2 points. So those two are alike. Example 7 is completely different. Now example 3 and example 4 are also alike. Now you have to also word this, because I'm not going to write it, but it's also the same as example, I titled both of these 3. So example 3, hopefully yours is different. Well, all of those 3 are alike, and then these 2 here are alike, and then the last one is different. So what was example 6? What is unique about this? Well, just like the previous one, it doesn't have a slope. Our m here is unknown, so we have to find that, which we can do by doing xa, ya, xb, yb. And so we have our m, which is going to be ya minus yb all over xa minus xb. Remember, you could also flip that. Go yb minus ya all over xb minus xa. You'll get the same result. So ya is 1. And let's see here. Yb is a minus 3. Xa is negative 12 minus xb, which is a 4. So this is actually a 1 plus 3, because both of those negatives are beside each other. Ooh. So 1 plus 3 is 4. And negative 12 minus 4 is going to be a negative 16. So my slope is negative 1 over 4. So my m slope here is negative 1 over 4. We had to do all of that work because that was not given to us like it was in the first question. Now that we have our slope, we need a point, and just for the heck of it, I'm going to choose the first one, to call that x1 and call that y1. So let's do our slope. So the formula is y minus y1 equals m bracket x minus x1. So y minus y1 is over here, it's 1, equals our slope, which I think was negative a quarter, bracket x minus, now x1 was negative 12. So I got that double negative thing going on here. So I'm going to have y minus 1 equals negative a quarter x plus 12. So this is some good fraction stuff to remember. I can multiply the quarter in, like that, distribute it in. So negative a quarter times x is a negative quarter x. Nothing happens, they just kind of go side by side there. And a negative quarter times 12. So just remember that this is going to be over 1. And so we can multiply our numerators together. So negative 1 times 12 is going to be a negative 12. And 4 times 1, our denominators, is 4. And we still have a y minus 1 there. And for the heck of it, let's just reduce this to a minus 3. And then you can add the 1 over to get the y alone. So those are gone. Y equals a quarter x minus negative 3 and positive 1 is going to be a negative 2. So x minus 2. So lots going on in that question. So I'll zoom out here in case you want to take a look at it. The last question here is exactly the same, but with a twist. So you might think, well, it's not exactly the same, and I guess you're right. Determine the equation of the line that has a y-intercept of 6 and an x-intercept of negative 4. And the thing that you need to know, and I'll just write it here, is that when it says a y-intercept of 6, that means it crosses the y-axis at 6. That is a point. That point is 0, 6. And when we say there's an x-intercept of -4, well, that means there's a point, and that is -4, 0. So when it says y-intercept, well, the y, remember x and y, the y part is 6, but the x is 0. And when it says x-intercept of -4, again, the x part is the -4 because it's the x-intercept, and the y is 0. So that's just me saying that, but also you can just take a look at a graph. So right here, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess you could do a 6 by 6. So this point here, this x-intercept of -4, that means it crosses the x-axis at -4. Well, what is that point? Well, that point is -4, 0. And when we have a y-intercept here, the y-intercept of 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, well, that is a point 2, over nothing, up 6. So those, they are points, but we just didn't write them like a point. Here, I wrote the point. Here it is, -12 and 1. Or here it is, 4 and -3. But this one, I tried to disguise it a little bit. I wrote a y-intercept of 6, but it's really just 0, 6. And you can graph that if you want, and you can see those 2 points. So, now that we have the 2 points, again, we're not given any slope. So the slope is unknown. So we're going to need to do ya minus yb all over xa minus xb. Okay, so our point is going to be xa, ya, xb, yb. So we need to do the formula. So ya is 6 minus yb is 0. And then xa is 0 minus xb, which is -4. So 6 minus 0 is 6. And this is a 0 plus 4. 0 plus 4 is 4. And those can both be divided by 2, which we get 3 and 2. So our slope here, m equals 3 over 2. So m equals 3 over 2. Finally, we have our slope. Now we can do the equation. So y minus y1 equals m bracket x minus x1. And we can choose whichever point we want. So we can just choose the first one, I guess. So x1 and y1. So y minus y1 is 6. Yep, 6 equals m. Now m here is 3 over 2 bracket x minus x0. Yep. This is actually, I didn't think about this, but this is x minus 0. This is the best one to choose because if we had chosen the other one, this would be 0 and this would be -4, and you got to multiply 3 over 2 times -4, which is kind of, it's okay, but it's kind of annoying because then it's got to be a 4 over 1. 3 times 4 is 12. 2 times 1 is 2. 12 over 2 is 6, blah, 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 blah. Now, but the fact that it's a 0, and this is the 6, but the fact that it's a 0, when I multiply this in, 3 over 2 times the 0 is just 0. So that's kind of nice. So we have a y minus 6 equals 3 over 2 times x. It's a 3 over 2x. And 3 over 2 times 0 is just a 0. And then you can go plus 6. Bring it over to the other side. Plus 6. So y equals 3 over 2x. 0 plus 6 is 6. And that is it. So what makes this question more difficult? Well, just the fact that we had to get our 2 points. Our 2 points were not given to us like they were in the other one. We had to calculate them by ourselves by first creating these 2 points. They weren't given to us where I can easily read them. I had to do a little bit of math to create them myself, which is what this drawing over here was all about. Then I found my slope, put it into here with one of my points, and I'm good to go. So I'll zoom out here for these 2 questions, though you do have the PDF if you need to. And I think that's it for this chapter. I just got to renumber it, I think. So I'll do that right away.